What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Dr. Tiasond Johnson, who is the esteemed professor over at California State University, Fresno, posted a very interesting article on his Facebook page that was written a few days ago by Time magazine. And the name of that article is that men are now more likely to be single than women. It's not a good sign. Now also, I was shocked to see that a third of adult single men live with a parent. So an adult man can be anywhere from 18 upwards. You have a lot of single men, according to the article, who are more likely to be unemployed, financially fragile, lacking a college degree. And with this article, it's saying that marriage is becoming more of an elite institution, and those men who are married tend to make more money and stuff like that. And that women are, obviously graduating college more than men are. But it also talks about something that's interesting, that a lot of people are taking more time to get married than before. Okay, so there are more single people. People are getting married, 30s, 40s, 50s, like that. But then it starts to get into racial demographics, and black people are much likely to be single than any other race at 59%, and black women at 62% are the most likely to be single of any sector. And while these articles have numbers, they don't explain why the numbers are the way they are. And I believe that's because they feel that, men are single and they're not making enough money. And so that's the reason why they're not getting married, because, they don't have the means to raise women, so they're staying away from marriage. In the black community, I think that's a little bit different, because what is the incentive? And see, the thing that people are looking at today is, what is the incentive for these guys to chase marriage more than in times before? That's what people are not talking about. And in the black community, I want to talk about this. In our community, men grow up with very little resources, which is something that this article doesn't talk about. So if you look at some of the skilled nations, Japan, Germany, even the USA, it's not as skilled as it used to be, but those nations, a lot of skills come from your parents, right? If your parent is a doctor, your parent is a surgeon, your parent is a businessman, a lot of those skills can be transferred down to the youth. And you can come up in communities like labor union jobs, blue collar work, things like that, where you can transfer those skills and knowledge on to your child, or put them in situations where they can get these resources, and then that's the easier start. If you're coming up from the black community, like many African American men do, there is no father that's there. And there's no incentive really that the black community takes to develop young black men. So these guys don't get to become industrialized like Asian men do, or white men do, or some immigrants do. They don't go into the things that make money. They are not business starters, so they're figuring it out all by themselves. So academically, they're unqualified. They have no mentorship. So of course they come out a lot of times not being prepared, and those avenues for them are not there. So they become more, prone to poverty. It makes sense. Look at Chicago. Not all of them, but you see this was happening, right? But at the same time, for those black men who are kind of making it out, and that don't have the money, what's the incentive to go get some money in black America? For a lot of black men, it's not there. A lot of the ladies are already single moms. Okay? You're losing out a lot of money getting into marriage. Although this article talks about that, you can have more money in marriage. That's true. Doesn't talk about the divorce or the threats of divorce, though. And see, this is why black men are not dealing with marriage as much, because what is the risk? I'm better off For some guys, staying by myself, or I'm better off living with my mom or my parents till I get my feet on the ground and then going at it alone. Because don't nobody care about me anyway. Right? And the people who lose the most are women in this case. Because women benefit from being married to a man that works a lot. A company man, right? A man that stays, bringing in the money. A man who has something to lose as a family man. He doesn't want to lose his job. He does a really good job at work. He gets promoted. This is what they're, a guy who wants to keep gaining skills to be more marketable in the economy. But when you forget about men in the country, the industrialization of men, when you need businesses and communities to hold families together, you can't even have group economics without businesses, without a customer base, without making the product of the business better. Without innovation, the black community is it's not industrialized for economic structures. It's not there. So you miss all that money because there is no incentives or no resources for your men to develop. Because that's what the Democrats and a lot of people, this is what they push. And many black men out there feeling ashamed because of their own situations or failures don't want to get married. They're not incentivized to become the best versions of themselves, especially in black America where you don't get a lot of push if you're a technical guy, right? You're a guy that's an engineer. It's not celebrated in black America. You want to be a doctor? Long path, but nobody's gonna celebrate you there for the most part. You're an attorney? Skilled labor and skilled workforce is not celebrated in black America. It's better off that you're a rapper, you're something else like that, comedian, actor, athlete. Guys don't see the values in long-term development, long-term skill trade, long-term skilled labor, understanding the value chain in industries. Agriculture, God forbid you're a farmer in the black community, you get roasted. You could be making $1 million a month as a pig farmer in somewhere in North Carolina, and people find out you're going to be talked about. Our community doesn't value our men being industrialized, helping the country develop, getting into the technical skills, all right? Getting into the things that are always the healthcare systems, the agriculture systems. We don't learn those value chains. And not to blame it on just black men, but then black women feel the brunt of it because you don't get married. No businesses, nothing like that. And then when a black man is saying, like, what am I getting if I do all of this? It's, I'm going to get married just to get divorced. What's the reason to do it? This is the problem that the black church has not solved. Democrats have not solved. And what you're going to see in black America, black men and black women, as Obsidian has always said, can't get along. You're going to see less marriages. If anything, you're going to see more interracial marriages between like black men and other people. And slowly you'll see the decline of our ethnic group. If men are not encouraged to develop our communities. You look at countries like Singapore. I know black community is in America is not a country. But if you look at what happens with these countries, Qatar, Singapore, who's the people that industrialize or develop or bring skills back? Or men, right? If your men are not highly skilled and those skills are not passed down to the men of your generation, those guys become lowly skilled, poor, unmotivated. You can't develop their talents. Without businesses, you cannot hire guys. You cannot set guys up. You cannot build communities with no money. And you lose out on people all the time. So black men have to be pushed to industrialize. They must become parts of the industries. They must have those skilled trades to be able to hit all the value chains everywhere in every industry to grow back, to provide for the communities. But when you don't put any effort into your black men, this is what you get. When it's all about just women and nothing about the men, the women suffer the most. There's no guys with skills to marry, or very little to choose from. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe at the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at all-time high. I'm out.